So now that we've actually put together the pigtails, I'm actually going to be connecting them to the light assembly here to make a little sub-assembly. This is going to be useful for maintenance. So if this guy ever has to be removed, instead of having to clip the wires, resolder them, re-terminate, blah, 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 you can actually just kind of pull them apart. I mean, they're going to be connected just like this. Pull them apart, unbolt it, and then you're good. Or if you actually want to swap in a new light assembly, maybe you're just thinking, oh, maybe this one can go somewhere else on the vehicle, or you can actually use it somewhere else completely. Here you go. Here's a good opportunity to make it a little bit easier for you in the future. That's what we do here at Circuit Dojo. We think about what's going to happen in the future. Not only are we accomplishing the current problem or fixing the current problem, the current task, we're thinking about how to make life a little bit easier down the road. So what I plan on doing here is I'm going to be to make these guys a little bit shorter, just about this long. I'm going to be stripping this guy down. I'm going to be exposing the black and red wire. I'm going to be pretty much stripping those down to about the same length. I'm going to tin them on both sides with some of this higher gauge lead solder. Whenever I do use solder, whenever I'm soldering at all, I will be using a fume extractor. Because I do this every day, I work with electronics every day. I use this guy just to avoid anything that I could be breathing in that could cause some problems down the road. Actually, we'll be wearing gloves as well to protect myself when I'm making these connections. I'm going to make these connections, then I'm going to finish it all up with some heat shrink right here. So I'm going to be making these. I'm going to make a heat shrink piece maybe about the same length, maybe a little bit longer than the exposed wire. I'm going to pop it on right before I actually meld the two together, and then I'll hit it with a hot air gun. It's going to shrink the tube. It's going to be protected for a long time. Without further ado, I'm going to get working on this. Fast forward, I will stop at any point where I think it might be interesting for you guys at home trying to do this yourselves. This is a great length right here. I'm going to add some solder to it. I'm going to make sure that they're about the same length. Nice thing is, kind of the woodworker's motto is measure twice, cut once. In this case, I'm just going to leave a little more extra wire, so if I do have to cut it down, no big deal. But if I make it too short, I have to restrip it, I got to add more solder, so on and so forth. So with this hot air gun, this guy is actually used for surface component assembly. So I'm talking about components that are sitting on top of a circuit board. Let's see if I have something here. On top of the circuit board, so I can remove it. I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to go all the way around and make sure every single side is covered. I'm going to do the other end, and then this sub-assembly will be done. So now that we have these finished sub-assemblies, I'm just going to quickly test them here on the bench. I actually have a 12-volt power supply that is ready and rolling to go. I'm just going to bring it on over here. I have everything connected via some some Pomona mini grips here, and I'm actually going to just plug it in. It's already plugged into the wall, ready to go. All I got to do is test it. So that looks pretty awesome. It's working. This wire job is complete. I'm going to be working on testing the next one, making sure that one's ready to go. We're getting one step closer to actually putting these in.